Hello, you're watching One TV News in English at 5. I'm Yanni Moutsios. These are today's top stories. Zelensky says freedom or death is the only way for Ukrainians in his speech to Greek House of Commons. Athens will request that the International Court of Justice investigate war crimes in the besieged city of Mariupol, says Greek Minister of Foreign Affairs. Russia says it will retaliate to the expulsion of her envoys from Athens. 52-year-old man, second person to die in a row following a major fire on Wednesday in Papanikolaou Hospital. G7 foreign ministers have condemned in the strongest terms the atrocities committed by Russian troops in Bucha and a number of Ukrainian towns. In a joint statement, they said, haunting images of civilian deaths, victims of torture and apparent executions, as well as reports of sexual violence and destruction of civilian infrastructure, show the true face of Russia's brutal war of aggression against Ukraine and its people. The massacres in the town of Bucha and other Ukrainian towns will be inscribed in the list of atrocities and severe violations of international law, including international humanitarian law and human rights committed by the aggressor on Ukrainian soil. Ministers expressed their heartfelt solidarity with the Ukrainian people and our deepest condolences to the victims. We underline our unwavering support for Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders and express our readiness to assist further, including with military equipment and financial means to allow Ukraine to defend itself against Russia's aggression and to rebuild Ukraine. Russia should be suspended from the United Nations Human Rights Council, they added. G7 foreign ministers welcome and support the work to investigate and gather evidence of potential war crimes and crimes against humanity. They also urged Russia to withdraw completely its military forces and equipment from the entire territory of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. Coming up next, Athens will request that the International Court of Justice investigate war crimes in the besieged city of Mariupol, says Greek Minister of Foreign Affairs. Ukraine is bracing for a renewed Russian offensive on its eastern front as Russian forces withdraw from the shattered outskirts of Kyiv to regroup and intensify their attacks across the Donbas region. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba has called on NATO allies to supply more weapons to bolster Ukraine's war effort, including warplanes, heavy air defense systems, missiles and armored vehicles. Speaking at NATO headquarters, Kuleba said there are 3 items on his agenda when he talks to the allies and holds bilateral meetings: weapons, weapons and weapons. The United Nations General Assembly will vote later today on whether to suspend Russia from the United Nations Human Rights Council. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said the new package of Western sanctions against Russia is not enough, and without more painful measures and supply of weapons, Russia will view the action as permission to launch a new bloody attack. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said the US supplying Ukraine with weapons will not contribute to the success of Russian-Ukrainian talks. Peskov also said sanctions being applied by the United States on Putin's family speak for themselves and that it is hard to understand or explain the move. He also added that Putin has yet to decide whether to attend the next G20 summit, which is due in Indonesia in November, and a decision will be taken according to how events unfold. Coming up next, Russia said it will retaliate to the expulsion of her envoys from Athens. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged Greece on Thursday to use its influence in the European Union to help save our shared heritage in the besieged Ukrainian port city of Mariupol. The Ukrainian president addressed the Greek House of Commons via teleconference and noted that there are thousands of people trapped in Mariupol, whereas the city has been almost completely destroyed. He said the Russian military have bombed hospitals, theaters and houses. During his speech, Zelensky emphasized the close ties between Mariupol and Greece, noting that it is impossible to trace when Greeks first established themselves around the Black Sea. Zelensky also thanked Greece for imposing sanctions on Russia, along with the other European Union member states, but added that Ukraine continues to be destroyed.
Για πάνω από ένα μήνα τώρα, κάθε πρωί ξυπνάω και σκέφτομαι τη Μαριούπολη, λαμβάνοντας τις φρικτές πληροφορίες για το τι συμβαίνει σε αυτήν την μαρτυρική πόλη, όπως είπατε, την οποία καταστρέφουν τα ρωσικά στρατεύματα. Αυτό δεν έχει συμβεί στην ευρωπαϊκή ιστορία εδώ και πάνω από μισό αιώνα, από τον Δεύτερο Παγκόσμιο Πόλεμο. Ουδέποτε κατάφεραν να χτυπήσουν τις πόλεις, ισοπεδώνοντάς τις και ταυτοχρόνως αναγκάζοντας τον άμαχο πληθυσμό να φύγει από την πείνα και τις κακουχίες. Υπάρχουν ακόμα 100.000 άνθρωποι οι οποίοι παραμένουν στα όρια της Μαριούπολης. Δεν έχει μείνει όμως κανένα κτίριο το οποίο να μην έχει βληθεί. Η μεγάλη πλειοψηφία των κτιρίων έχουν ισοπεδωθεί. Οι Ρώσοι στρατιωτικοί καταστρέφουν τα πάντα. Έχουν βομβαρδίσει νοσοκομεία, μευτήρια, πολιτιστικά κέντρα, ακόμη και το θέατρο, το δημοτικό της πόλης, το οποίο ευλήθη από πύραυλο. Ελευθερία ή θάνατος, έλεγαν οι δικοί σας επαναστάτες. Το ίδιο λέμε και εμείς σήμερα.
Now, Greece has become the latest European country to expel Russian envoys, saying 12 members of the country's diplomatic and consular missions had been designated as persona non grata. The 12 were declared undesirable according to the provisions of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961 and the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations of 1963, Greece's Foreign Ministry said in a statement on April 6th. The ministry's Secretary-General informed the Russian ambassador earlier today about this decision, it added. Greece's decision to expel 12 Russian diplomats over the war in Ukraine is a truly unprecedented move in Russian-Greek relations, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova said on Wednesday. It only confirms how zealous the Greek authorities are in following the course of dismantling our bilateral, versatile and mutually beneficial cooperation. It is sad that centuries-long historical, cultural and economic ties are sacrificed in no time in the name of transatlantic solidarity, she said. She also added that Russia will respond appropriately. More than 300 Russian diplomats have been told to leave missions in countries around the world since Moscow launched its unprovoked invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. Coming up next, 52-year-old man, second person to die in a row following a major fire on Wednesday in Papanikolaou Hospital. NATO foreign ministers meeting in Brussels yesterday and today addressed President Putin's brutal and unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. Athens will request that the International Court of Justice investigate war crimes in the besieged city of Mariupol, Nikos Dendias said in a comments made before attending NATO's foreign ministers meeting. This is what Nikos Dendias said earlier today.
Greece is going to ask the International Court in The Hague to investigate crimes of war conducted in Mariupol. Greece has a specific special interest for Mariupol because of the existence of a 100,000 and more Greek community in Mariupol. Apart from that, I'm going to ask my colleagues of the alliance to try our best to help Ukraine to protect Odessa so that Odessa can avoid the fate of Mariupol.
Another patient who suffered severe burns by the fire that broke out on Wednesday at Papanikolaou Hospital in Thessaloniki died earlier today. The 52-year-old burn victim, who was being treated on respiratory support after the fire was pronounced dead, director of the pulmonary clinic of Papanikolaou, Stavros Trifon said. 3 injured remain in hospital. Firefighters are investigating the cause of fire. That's all from us for now. Next news updates at 6 o'clock in Greek. Stay with us for news updates. Thank you.